it's Adam and Andrew once again, back with some more wrestling news. I was going to ask how hungover you are, make a few jokes about you being drunk yesterday. Doesn't really feel that appropriate anymore, given what we're about to talk about. We will get straight into it. Here are your wrestling headlines. Jimmy Uso has been arrested for DUI. We got a spoiler as to who is behind the battery charging vignettes on NXT, and an AEW star has blasted Jackson Riker. We'll tell you more soon. So kicking things off with some very, very big news. This is literally broken in the last 10 minutes or so. TMZ reporting that Jimmy Uso has been arrested for DUI once again. He's had numerous run-ins with the law regarding drink driving, and this is, of course, the latest in that. According to police documents, Jonathan Fatu pulled over about 10:30 on Monday in Pensacola, Florida, after cops say he ran a red light after being clocked going 50 in a 35-mile zone. They smelled alcohol on his breath, did a breath test, and both of those breath tests coming back at 0.202, 0.205, way above Florida's legal limit of 0.08. This is the second time in the last 2 years that he's been accused of drunk driving. Booked back in 2019 twice for it. There were also incidents in 2011 and 2018. And yeah, just you know what? It's really, really disappointing to see this news today. We can sit here and go, hey, he's in the middle of the biggest storyline in WWE. And he is, he's a very integral part of SmackDown right now, alongside Jay and Roman. But just so disappointing to hear that this has happened again, and he's putting people's lives at risk by doing so. I don't want to speculate as to whether or not he's got a problem with alcohol, but this is a great shame. We don't know how this is going to affect his standing in WWE. Before, both of the Usos have faced legal troubles, and sometimes they've gone away for a little bit, and sometimes they've been back on TV the next week. So we'll see. Maybe WWE will want to wrap the story up with regards to Jimmy, and then send him away for a bit. But yeah, time will tell. Time will tell. We will move swiftly on. We've got the spoiler on the NXT battery vignettes that have been appearing on NXT. If you've not seen them, a battery charging icon comes up on the screen, and it's been growing week by week. Last week's episode, it's up to 81%. So whatever that is surely happening very, very soon. And this relates to something we reported on earlier today. It is indeed Tegan Knox, PW Insider, confirming that she is expected to be behind the vignette, making her return imminently. So it looks as though, that match last night, the dark match before Raw against Toni Storm, wasn't them scouting her for a call-up, although you never know. But no, it looks as though she's going to be back on NXT TV. We spoke about it at some length this morning. You mentioned that you'd love to see her go after that NXT women's title. And maybe she'll get a chance to do that. So it'll be good to see her back on our screens very soon. Back to some, it's some pretty controversial news, actually, I guess. It's Zelina Vega has blasted Dave Meltzer. Andrew's here with the scoop on this one.
So this is obviously over the weekend. On Friday, we saw Zelina Vega come back to WWE, which was a big deal. Obviously, there was things way back when she tweeted about unionization in wrestling, and then strangely, coincidentally, she was let go not long after that tweet went out. And apparently it was to do with all sorts of other things, like her not wanting to give up her OnlyFans stuff and all these other all her other social media channels and stuff like that. And basically, since she's come back to WWE, that tweet has been deleted. Nobody can find that on her on her page anymore. And it seems as though there's been people, she tweeted out actual footage of dirt sheet writers trying to think of the next lie to post about me, and she posts a gif of just like this lady on a sofa in different positions trying to sort of, I guess, figure out what she wants to write in relation to this. And then sort of out of nowhere, Dave Meltzer responded on the Wrestling Observer Radio saying, and this is paraphrasing a little bit, he went on a bit of a big old rant here. He said, I have no idea what she's talking about. If you use the term journalist or dirt sheet, don't specify who or what, I got no respect for you. Very little respect. Dave then goes on to say, if I came out and said all wrestlers are drug addicts, and there's a few, mind you, that would be really stupid and unfair to almost every wrestler. But in fact, it would be true in some places. Grouping people like that, we shouldn't be grouped with people like that, talking about these dirt sheets that I guess are putting bad into the wrestling sphere. He continues to rant, and then he finally says, to do this all-encompassing thing, every time I see someone say dirt sheets as a qualifier, you know, whatever, you're effing stupid. If you don't like me, fair enough. And if you have your reason, then that's fine. But if you don't like me, then that doesn't mean you shouldn't like John Pollock or Brian Alvarez, obviously, or whatever. It's like... What?
Carry on.
Okay. It's like to group anyone together, it's like anyone that does that is effing stupid. So Dave going off there. And then Zelina Vega actually responded to this on Twitter again, saying, hey, Dave, instead of name calling, I'll ask you to please point to where I said all dirt sheet writers in that tweet. Or would that make your aggressive and nonsensical argument invalid? You can keep your respect, as I lost mine for you when you started tearing down and degrading women in the business for no reason. I wasn't referring to you, but if you think the shoe fits, then that is on you. Woo. All getting...
Yeah, it is. You can listen to that Dave Meltzer audio now. He was truly peed off about this. And Zelina Vega coming back and absolutely destroying him there. I don't want to sit here and talk about it too much. But the disdain, I guess, from some WWE stars, wrestlers in general, in fact, has been growing and growing and growing. Especially like since I started doing this job, I've seen Dave, people in the industry, or some people in the industry, seem to view him very differently to maybe 5 years ago. Moving on, Bayley has been speaking to the Metro here in the UK, and she got quite emotional, in fact, talking about some of the recent WWE releases, saying, for me, the past few have been really hard because most of them are really good friends and so talented. And I'm just like, what? It's really hard not to see certain ones in our locker room and share traveling the road together. I know that everything happens for a reason in life, and whatever that may be, we'll find out later, but I just know they're going to be successful. I can't wait to see them all do their thing, wherever that may be. I've included this one. I find it quite interesting because a few years ago, you wouldn't have really got wrestlers talking out about this sort of stuff. And now with social media and with the other press they do, a lot of WWE superstars have been very, very open about the fact that they've been unhappy with various elements, various parts of their job. And so for Bayley to be outspoken on this and say how much it hurt her, I thought was quite interesting. And yeah, I can imagine like losing your mates backstage can't be very nice.
Without a doubt. I mean, you'd see these people pretty much, I assume, on a daily basis as well, and then all of a sudden for those people to be gone, that's got to be really hard, especially in the past year as well, where we've needed a little bit of camaraderie to get us through some tough times, and that's got to suck when your friends are gone.
No doubt. Yeah. Moving on again, AEW star blasting Jackson Riker. Big Swole making a fairly controversial tweet after Cedric Alexander was pinned by Jackson on this week's episode of Raw. Obviously, Big Swole is the wife of Cedric Alexander. And Swole posted a photo of Eddie Murphy saying, "Brother, don't nobody wanna see no shh like that." You can see the image there. You can tell what she's getting at. The caption, more importantly, all of us watching Cedric get pinned by Lil Hogan. Obviously, Riker is the babyface here. He's made some pretty controversial statements in the past. I think we all know where he politically sits. I found this fascinating because WWE are just getting on with it. They don't care. They're presenting Jackson now as a babyface, which is crazy anyway. But I can't think of many other companies that would just like get on with it. Ignore everything else that was happening. And it seems as though Jackson Riker may not be welcome in many other locker rooms. I don't know how welcome he is backstage in WWE.
It's crazy that people have done much less and been released, and Jackson Riker's still there. That's all I'm going to say about that, because I know people might get mad or whatever. But
they will. Of course they will.
Of course they will. But it is actually insane, and that he's being portrayed as a babyface right now is just, well, what's going on there?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, personally, I take all the politics aside. I find him very, very bland. I've never especially enjoyed watching him. But, you know, when he's going over Cedric Alexander, who is tremendously talented, really, really charismatic, got the lot. And I know that's just one loss and everything, but he's clearly being pushed at the moment. It does nothing for me. Anyway, moving on once again. PWG announcing their comeback plans. Just a quick one here. Saying that they're back on the 1st of August in Los Angeles, California at the Global Theatre. And it will be held under the Mystery Vortex banner, this event. So if you're unfamiliar with this, it means that the talents of the matches on that night will be unannounced until they hit the ring that evening. So you don't know what you're getting. And maybe they don't. Who's going to be available? Who's going to be around? We are unfortunately finishing on some tremendously sad news relating to Terry Funk. You may have heard Don Morocco discussing the health of Terry Funk. He noted on his podcast that Funk is now living in an assisted living facility for those dealing with dementia. This is now being confirmed by PW Insider. And he is indeed there. He's been dealing with a lot of health issues recently. Things have gotten a lot worse over the last year in the wake of the death of his wife, Vicky, as well. And there's not much really to say here, except for we send our love to the Funker, to all of Terry's family, friends, one of the greatest of all time. And yeah, we'll leave it there, because man, what a guy. Just hope he's doing all right day to day. Thank you very much for watching. Take care of yourselves. See you in a bit.